Learn English through story. A dangerous whisper. In the ancient town of Vardas, nestled between jagged cliffs and the raging sea, whispers were a currency more valuable than gold. Knowledge, secrets, and rumors held the power to shape lives, create wealth, or ruin reputations. It was a town where the truth was often buried under layers of deceit, and where a single whisper could lead to one's rise or fall. Among the many residents of Vardas, there was a man named Renard. Renard had long lived in the shadows, a skilled merchant who had gained both fortune and infamy through his ability to gather and manipulate information. With a charismatic smile and a silver tongue, he could sway the opinions of the town's influential, shifting the tides of power to his advantage. Renard's greatest asset was his ability to listen. He frequented the taverns, market stalls, and alleyways, picking up bits of conversation that others might dismiss. A keen observer, he could discern who was lying, who was nervous, and who had something to hide. It was in these small details that Renard found his power. One night, as the moon hung full in the sky, Renard overheard a conversation between two sailors at a dimly lit tavern. They spoke in hushed voices, glancing around nervously as they exchanged words about an imminent conflict brewing in the capital, a political conspiracy that, if exposed, would bring chaos to the region. The sailors mentioned the name of a nobleman, a lord of Fulstana, who was at the center of this plot. Renard's pulse quickened. This information could be the key to his greatest fortune yet. If he played his cards right, he could sell this knowledge to the right people, earning enough wealth and power to secure his future. Yet, as with all dangerous games, there were risks. As Renard contemplated his next move, the door to the tavern creaked open, and in walked a figure cloaked in shadows. The figure's face was obscured, but their presence immediately captured Renard's attention. Something about this person felt different. They moved with purpose, their gaze sharp and calculated. Without a word, the figure sat in the far corner of the room, their eyes seemingly scanning the crowd. Renard, ever the opportunist, decided to approach. He sensed that this stranger might hold even more valuable information. After all, in a town like Vardas, those who cloaked themselves in mystery often had the most to hide or the most to offer. He approached the table, offering a polite smile. "Mind if I join you?" Renard asked, his tone disarming. The figure, their face still hidden beneath a hood, gestured for him to sit. For a moment, there was silence between them. Renard, always adept at reading people, found this stranger difficult to decipher. But he pressed on. "I couldn't help but notice you're new around here," Renard said, leaning in slightly. "Vardas is a town of whispers, a dangerous place for those who don't know how to navigate its waters." The figure let out a quiet chuckle, their voice soft yet commanding. "And I suppose you're one who navigates those waters well." Renard's smile widened. "I like to think so. I have a knack for uncovering things that others prefer remain hidden." The figure's head tilted slightly, as if amused. "And what is it that you seek to uncover from me?" Renard's pulse quickened again. He had expected the usual dance of conversation, where he would subtly extract information without revealing his own intentions. But this stranger had cut straight to the point. "I've heard whispers," Renard said cautiously, "about a certain nobleman involved in a conspiracy. Lord of Fulstan, to be precise. I believe this could be valuable information for the right people." The figure remained silent for a moment, then leaned forward, revealing just a hint of their face. Their eyes were sharp, calculating, and cold as ice. "You should be careful with the information you possess, Renard." Renard's heart skipped a beat. How did this stranger know his name? He had not introduced himself. "I don't believe we've met," Renard said, his voice steady despite the rising tension in his chest. No, the figure replied, but I know who you are. Renard, the merchant who deals in whispers. The man who profits from the secrets of others. Renard's mind raced. He had thought himself a master of information, but this stranger clearly had the upper hand. He considered leaving, walking away from this conversation that had suddenly taken a dangerous turn. But his curiosity and his greed kept him rooted to the spot. And who are you? Renard asked, his voice low. The figure finally lowered their hood, revealing a woman with striking features, raven black hair, sharp cheekbones, and eyes that seemed to pierce through Renard's soul. My name is Celine, she said, her voice like silk over steel. And I am here to offer you a choice. Renard raised an eyebrow. A choice? Celine nodded. You are in possession of dangerous knowledge, Renard. Lord Athelstan's conspiracy is not a mere rumor. It is real, and it is far more dangerous than you realize. If you sell this information to the highest bidder, you will set events in motion that cannot be undone. Blood will spill, and chaos will reign. But, she paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. If you choose to remain silent, to let this conspiracy play out as intended, you may prevent a catastrophe. However, you will gain nothing from mine. No fortune, no power, no reward. Renard's mind whirled with possibilities. His entire life had been built on the premise of gathering and selling secrets. But now, he was faced with a choice unlike any other. He could expose Lord Athelstan's plot, sell the information to those who would pay dearly for it, and secure his fortune. Or, he could walk away, allow the conspiracy to unfold, and potentially save countless lives, but at the cost of his own ambitions. I don't understand, Renard said slowly. Why are you telling me this? What do you gain from it? Celine's gaze softened, just slightly. I serve a higher purpose, Renard, one that requires maintaining balance in the world. I cannot act directly in this matter, but I can guide those who hold the power to change the course of events. Renard leaned back in his chair, the weight of the decision pressing heavily upon him. He had always been a man of self-interest, driven by the pursuit of wealth and influence. But now, for the first time in his life, he was being asked to consider something greater than himself. Why should I trust you? Renard asked, his voice edged with suspicion. Celine's eyes never wavered. Because the truth will reveal itself, one way or another. If you act out of greed, you will be consumed by the very chaos you seek to profit from. But if you act with wisdom, you may prevent a tragedy, and in doing so, find something far more valuable than gold. Renard sat in silence, torn between his desires and the looming sense of responsibility. His entire life had been defined by manipulation and self-serving choices, yet now he stood on the precipice of a decision that could alter the fate of not only himself but countless others. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Renard spoke. I will remain silent, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. But this goes against everything I've ever done. Celine smiled, a rare warmth touching her features. Sometimes, the most dangerous whisper is the one you choose not to speak. With those words, she rose from her seat and disappeared into the shadows, leaving Renard alone in the dimly lit tavern. For the first time in his life, Renard felt the weight of a decision that wasn't driven by his own gain but by the knowledge that he had prevented a greater evil. In the days that followed, the tension in Vardis grew as rumors of political unrest reached the town. Lord Athelstan's plot, though dangerous, ultimately collapsed from within, with no external interference. The chaos that could have engulfed the region was averted, and life in Vardis continued as it always had. Renard, however, was forever changed. The fortune and power he had once sought no longer held the same allure. He had glimpsed the true cost of greed and ambition, and he now understood the profound responsibility that came with knowledge. From that day on, Renard continued to listen to the whispers of the town, but he no longer sought to manipulate them for his own gain. Instead, he chose his actions carefully, understanding that some secrets were better left untold, and that true power lay not in the ability to control others, but in the wisdom to know when to act and when to remain silent. The most dangerous whispers are not always the ones spoken aloud, but those that remain silent, for they carry the weight of responsibility and consequence. True wisdom comes from knowing when to speak and when to hold back, understanding that some actions, driven by greed or ambition, can lead to far-reaching consequences. Sometimes, the greatest power lies not in what you gain, but in what you choose to prevent. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.